Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Welcome back to week 5 of the Coros Watch Training Program. Now, I know you guys have been waiting with bated breath. I know that for a fact because this is the highlight of everyone's day. However, I do have some news, some kind of relatively housekeeping things to get on with. I tend to film these far in advance. So everything that you've seen has been weeks in the back. However, I have kind of neglected to keep up with it. So what I'm about to film right now, I haven't seen for 3 weeks. So I apologize. I got a little bit ahead of myself and kind of kept forgetting to film. And I say forgot, but there was just some other things. Now, I have clearly changed locales. I might have to adjust this camera a little bit in future videos, but we'll see. Now, how was the week? Well, on day 17, this was October the 7th, 2025 at 4:22 a.m. It was an 8K easy, which up until this point was one of the longer runs that I've done. So that's pretty cool. I say longer run. It was okay. Temperature-wise, I know I left you guys kind of on a cliffhanger last time with my nipples bleeding through my shirt. That has not happened since. And I don't know why. And I think it is because we have gone down significantly in temperature and humidity as well. It's been very, very dry. It was really humid this morning, but the only reason behind that was because it has been pouring down rain for a couple of days now, right? You will notice that there is a drop. I did have to cut it a bit short. And the reason for that was I had to poop. Sorry, guys. That's the nature of running. I tried my best, and I got back without incident, thank God. However, that is the nature of the beast when it comes to running sometimes. Now, the next day would have been October the 8th. However, once again, it was a Wednesday training, and I completely forgot to do it. That's my bad. And you're going to notice that going further because we're working only with one vehicle now with my household. The Wednesday trainings, that is a day I have to drive my wife to work. And because of that, those longer runs don't really work out. And I'm not running in the afternoon because I refuse to. It's still too hot to run in the afternoon for myself personally. I know there's some, David Goggins types out there. I'm not going to run in the afternoon. And maybe that's just me, but I'm just not going to do it. So I missed that one. I believe I missed the next week's one as well, but we'll get there when we get there. This next one was a 5K easy, and it's making me lose my mind. It is making me lose my mind because I'm speeding up just a tiny bit. I'm sorry, guys. I know I have tried to stay on pace, and the week that I just completed, you're gonna see me not staying on pace. And that I'm sorry. I'm getting really tired of running as slow as humanly possible, it feels, in order to still be considered running. So, unfortunately, with this 5K easy, I was a little bit fast in it. Don't shoot the messenger. However, it does get better. Because on October the 11th, we had a 6K plus, you guys say it with me, 6 strides. And as you guys know, I quite appreciate the 6K plus 6 strides because during the 6 strides, I do not have to walk. I can feel like I can actually open it up a little bit, and actually physically run. Man, like I said at the beginning of this whole thing, it's probably going to be some sort of ordeal because I'm going to keep complaining about how slow this thing is making me run. You guys ready for the last day, for the Sunday? October the 12th. Sundays are always groovy because my wife can just take the car. I don't need the car on Sundays. I'm at home. I don't really need the car on Saturdays either, but she doesn't work on Saturdays, so that kind of, But I don't need the car on Sundays. So that means I get out a little bit later, typically, when I start my runs. I try not to. However, I have started to film with my sister for our podcast at this point, either Saturday or Sunday. And I believe that one was a Saturday, meaning I was sleepy. I stayed up a little bit later than I wanted to, which is fine, But why did it seem so slow? Why are there a bunch of dips in that graph? I'll tell you why. It was the route that I took. I remember this route very, very well, and I'm vowing never to take this route again because there were so many stop signs. And not only that, there were so many crosswalks that I had to avoid or stop at, which was very, very frustrating, especially like at the very beginning of the run. I wasn't even a mile in, and I had to sit and wait for a crosswalk. And this is where I'm going to sound... Oh, I totally forgot that I had these stupid gaming headphones on the entire time. I'm not reshooting it. You guys are going to get that. All right. This is the one thing that I can start to agree with Europeans on, and this is a very rare thing, okay? So if you're European out there, take this one. Take this W real quick. One way to run is on trails, of which the closest trail to me is about a mile away, but it is only about 3 miles. Nope, that's a lie. It's only about 1.24 miles from start to end. So if I'm running 12 miles, I'm going to have to run that route 6 times. Because back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? I'm going to have to run that 6 times just to get that. And on top of that, the trail is not nonstop. It has to cross over roads. So you will be stopping there anyways. The next thing is sidewalks. Where I live at in Texas, there must be like some law against building sidewalks because there are no sidewalks. And if there were once sidewalks, there are now massive craters and holes. It was actually the week after, and I can remember which run it was entirely. I fell. I'm pretty well balanced overall. I fell while I was running. Thankfully, I was able to catch myself before I completely face planted, but I did end up scuffing up my skin. Sometimes I scuff up my skin a little bit on a hard concrete. But yeah, tripped and fell, you know? And if that was just me hopping down a curb or hopping up a curb, I would totally get like, you know, not being mad at it, just like, hey, I'm an idiot, who cares, right? But it wasn't. This was a massive crater in what used to be a sidewalk, right? So that's the one thing I'll give Europeans is that everything there is very, very, first off, it's relatively small, so it's able to do that. But everything is relatively, quote unquote, walkable. Sorry, knocked you guys around. It's relatively walkable, and therefore it is relatively runnable as well. But that does it for me. This is a relatively short video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I've got 2 more videos to film today for this, and a couple more for TikTok, and a couple other things. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.